The autumn sun dipped low over Miami's glittering Ocean Drive, casting long shadows across the palm-lined streets. Marcus Tate stood at the edge of the bustling sidewalk, his reflection faint in the gleaming windows of Opulence, a luxury boutique he'd built from a dream into a multi-million-dollar empire. Today, though, he wasn't the polished CEO in a tailored suit. Dressed in a faded hoodie, ripped jeans, and scuffed sneakers, Marcus adjusted his worn baseball cap, concealing his sharp brown eyes. He was just another face in the crowd, a man on a mission to uncover the truth about his flagship store. Marcus had heard whispers, complaints from customers about unfair treatment at Opulence. As a black man who'd fought his way up from nothing, he knew the sting of prejudice all too well. The rumors gnawed at him, threatening the values he'd poured into his brand: elegance, inclusivity, and respect. Today, he'd see for himself how his store treated those who didn't look like they belonged in a world of crystal chandeliers and $1,000 handbags. He took a deep breath, the salty ocean breeze mixing with his resolve. Pushing open the heavy glass door, a soft chime announced his arrival. The store sparkled inside, marble floors, gold-accented displays, and the faint scent of lavender perfume. Marcus felt a pang of pride, quickly tempered by the weight of his purpose. He wasn't here to admire his creation, he was here to test it. The boutique buzzed with quiet energy. Shoppers in designer outfits browsed racks of silk dresses and leather jackets, their voices hushed against the backdrop of classical piano music. Marcus wandered toward a display of sapphire-encrusted watches, their price tags discreetly hidden. He lingered, running a finger along the glass, his heart racing, not from nerves, but from anticipation. Would his staff live up to the values he'd instilled? From across the room, Evelyn Harper, the store's manager, watched him. In her late 40s, with a severe blonde bob and a navy blazer that screamed authority, Evelyn had a reputation for running a tight ship. Her sharp blue eyes scanned Marcus, taking in his casual clothes, her lips pursing slightly. Marcus caught her glance but pretended to be engrossed in the watches, his fingers brushing a sleek timepiece worth more than a sports car. "Excuse me, sir." Evelyn's voice cut through the air, clipped and cool. She approached with measured steps, her heels clicking on the marble. "Those are our exclusive pieces. Perhaps you'd prefer something more practical?" Her tone dripped with assumption, her eyes flicking to his sneakers. Marcus felt a familiar heat rise in his chest, but he kept his expression neutral, offering a polite smile. This was only the beginning. Marcus tilted his head, feigning curiosity. "Practical? Nah, I'm curious about this one," he said, pointing to the sapphire watch. "What's the story behind it?" His voice was warm, inviting, but Evelyn's smile tightened, barely masking her irritation. She crossed her arms, her gold bracelets jangling softly. "It's a limited edition piece," she said, her words sharp, like she was explaining something to a child. "Handcrafted in Geneva, reserved for our elite clientele. It's priced at $85,000. She paused, her gaze sweeping over him again, lingering on his hoodie. "We have more affordable options near the back if that's more your speed." The dismissal was clear, and Marcus felt it like a slap, though he kept his smile steady. He nodded, setting the watch down gently. "Good to know. I'll keep looking." As he moved toward a rack of cashmere scarves, he felt Evelyn's eyes boring into his back. The store's elegance felt hollow now, tainted by her judgment. Marcus wasn't just a customer today. He was a detective, gathering evidence of a betrayal he hadn't wanted to believe. Marcus drifted to a display of leather handbags, each one a masterpiece of craftsmanship he'd personally approved. He picked up a sleek black tote, feeling its weight, admiring the stitching. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Evelyn whispering to a young sales associate, Mia, whose nervous glance darted toward him. Mia, barely 20, with curly hair and a hesitant smile, approached cautiously. "Hi, can I help you with that bag?" Mia asked, her voice soft but genuine. Marcus smiled, sensing her unease wasn't directed at him, but at Evelyn's watchful presence. "Yeah. Tell me about this one," he said, holding up the tote. Mia's eyes brightened as she described its Italian leather and unique design, her passion for the product evident. Before she could finish, Evelyn swooped in, her voice cutting through like a blade. "Mia, I'll handle this." She turned to Marcus, her smile forced. "That bag is $4,200. We don't allow casual handling of our premium items unless you're serious about purchasing." Her words were a wall, shutting him out. Marcus set the bag down, his jaw tight. "Got it," he said quietly, his mind racing. This wasn't just one bad moment. It was a pattern. Marcus moved to the jewelry section, his steps deliberate. He wasn't ready to leave, not yet. He needed more proof, more reason to act. The glass cases sparkled with diamond necklaces and emerald rings, each piece a testament to his vision. But the air felt heavy now, thick with the weight of Evelyn's scrutiny. He could feel her watching, waiting for him to overstep. He paused at a display of ruby earrings, their deep red glow catching the light. "These are nice," he said aloud, loud enough for Mia to hear. She hesitated, then approached, glancing nervously at Evelyn, who was now on her phone but still monitoring. "They're part of our new collection," Mia said softly. "Handset rubies, 18-karat gold. They're $12,000. Evelyn's head snapped up. "Mia, I said I'd handle high-value items," she barked, striding over. She turned to Marcus, her tone icy. "Sir, we have a policy. These pieces are for serious buyers only. I'm going to have to ask you to stop touching the displays." Marcus met her gaze, his heart pounding with a mix of anger and clarity. This was no accident. Evelyn's prejudice was poisoning his store. Marcus took a step back, raising his hands in mock surrender. "No problem," he said, his voice calm but laced with steel. "Just browsing." He turned away, feeling the weight of every eye in the store, staff and customers alike. A couple nearby, dressed in designer clothes, exchanged glances, clearly uncomfortable with the tension. Marcus caught their look, and it fueled his resolve. This wasn't just about him. It was about every person who'd been judged here. He moved toward the exit, pausing at a display of silk ties. He picked one up, letting the fabric slide through his fingers, daring Evelyn to intervene again. She didn't disappoint. "Sir," she said, her voice now openly hostile, "I think it's best if you leave. This store caters to a specific clientele, and we need to maintain our standards." The words hit like a punch, but Marcus kept his composure, nodding slowly. "I hear you," he said, his voice low. "I'll be back." He pushed open the door, the chime ringing like a warning bell. Outside, the Miami sun felt hotter, the air heavier. Marcus stood on the sidewalk, his fists clenched, his mind made up. Evelyn had crossed a line, and tomorrow she'd face the consequences. Back at his penthouse overlooking Biscayne Bay, Marcus paced the sleek hardwood floors, the city's lights twinkling below. He couldn't shake Evelyn's words, her smug assumption that he didn't belong in his own store. He'd built Opulence to be a haven of beauty and fairness, a place where anyone could feel like royalty. But Evelyn had turned it into a fortress of exclusion. He sat at his desk, pulling up the store's employee records on his laptop. Evelyn Harper, hired 5 years ago, praised for boosting sales, but flagged twice for customer complaints about attitude. Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd trusted her to uphold his vision, but she'd betrayed it. He thought of Mia, her genuine warmth stifled by Evelyn's control. There was potential there, potential he could nurture. Marcus picked up his phone and called his COO, Lena Carter, a no-nonsense woman who'd been with him since the early days. "Lena, set up a meeting at headquarters tomorrow. Evelyn Harper needs to be there, and get me the store's surveillance footage from today." His voice was calm, but Lena knew that tone. It meant business. Tomorrow, Marcus would step out of the shadows and into his power. The next morning, Marcus stood in his office at Opulence headquarters, a sleek glass tower in downtown Miami. He wore his signature charcoal suit, the kind that commanded respect. His presence a far cry from the hooded stranger of yesterday. The conference room was ready. A long mahogany table, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a screen prepped to play the surveillance footage. Lena stood by, her tablet in hand, her expression unreadable. Marcus's mind replayed the previous day. Evelyn's dismissive tone, Mia's hesitation, the customer's uneasy glances. He wasn't just angry. He was determined. This wasn't about revenge. It was about justice, about protecting the soul of his brand. He glanced at his watch. Evelyn would arrive in 10 minutes, thinking this was a routine performance review. The door opened, and Lena stepped in. "Footage is ready," she said. "It's clear as day. She's done this before, Marcus. We found complaints from other customers, same pattern, targeting people based on appearance." Marcus nodded, his resolve hardening. "Good. Let's make sure she understands the cost of her actions." Evelyn strode into the conference room, her navy blazer as crisp as ever, her confidence unshaken. She expected praise. Her sales numbers were stellar, after all. But when she saw Marcus at the head of the table, his suit impeccable, his gaze piercing, her smile faltered. "Mr. Tate," she said, her voice catching slightly. "I wasn't expecting you." "Take a seat, Evelyn," Marcus said, his tone even but firm. She sat, her hand smoothing her skirt, her eyes darting to Lena, who stood silently by the screen. The air was thick with tension, and Evelyn's usual poise seemed to waver. Marcus leaned forward, his hands clasped. "We need to talk about your management of Opulence." Evelyn straightened, recovering her composure. "Of course. The store's doing better than ever. Sales are up 15% this quarter." She forced a smile, but Marcus's expression didn't change. He pressed a button on the remote, and the screen flickered to life, showing yesterday's surveillance footage. Evelyn's face appeared, her voice clear. "This store caters to a specific clientele." Her smile vanished. The footage played on, capturing every moment of Evelyn's interactions with Marcus. Her clipped tone, her dismissive gestures, her insistence that he leave. It was all there, undeniable. Marcus watched her face as the video rolled, her cheeks flushing red, her hands gripping the table. That was a misunderstanding," she stammered. "I didn't know it was you, Mr. Tate." "That's the problem, Evelyn," Marcus said, his voice like steel, wrapped in velvet. "You shouldn't need to know who someone is to treat them with respect. That man in the hoodie, he was me. But he could have been anyone. A customer with dreams, with money, with a story. You judged him based on his clothes, his skin. You judged me." Evelyn's mouth opened, then closed, her eyes wide with panic. "I was protecting the brand," she said weakly. "Our clientele expects exclusivity." Marcus leaned closer, his gaze unwavering. "Our brand is about elegance for everyone, not just the people you think look the part. You've turned my store into a place where people feel small. That ends today." Marcus stood, pacing slowly, his voice steady but heavy with disappointment. I built Opulence to be a place where anyone could walk in and feel valued. Black, white, rich, poor, doesn't matter. You've been turning away customers, dismissing them based on your assumptions. I've seen the complaints, Evelyn. Yesterday wasn't a one-off. Evelyn's face hardened, a flicker of defiance breaking through her panic. I've kept the store's image pristine. Our high-end clients don't want to shop with just anyone. I've driven sales, Mr. Tate. You can't argue with results. Her voice trembled, but her chin lifted, as if daring him to challenge her. Marcus stopped pacing, his eyes locking onto hers. Results built on prejudice aren't results I want. You've betrayed the heart of this company, and I won't let that stand. Effective immediately, your contract is terminated. The words hung in the air, sharp and final. Evelyn's face crumpled, shock and anger warring in her expression. You can't do this, she whispered. I've given everything to this store. Marcus didn't flinch. And you've taken away its soul. Evelyn sat frozen, her hands trembling as she gathered her things. Lena stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. Security will escort you out, Ms. Harper. You'll receive details on the termination process. Evelyn stood, her face a mask of disbelief, and walked out without another word, her heels echoing in the silent room. Marcus exhaled, the weight of the moment settling over him. He turned to Lena, who gave him a nod of approval. You did the right thing, she said. But the store's in limbo now. We need a new leader, someone who gets what Opulence is about. Marcus's mind flashed to Mia, her warmth, her potential. I've got someone in mind, he said, a plan forming. Let's get Mia in here tomorrow. As he looked out over Miami's skyline, Marcus felt a mix of relief and responsibility. Firing Evelyn was just the start. He needed to rebuild, to ensure his store became the welcoming haven he'd always envisioned. The fight for his brand's soul was far from over. The next day, Marcus returned to Opulence, this time in his suit, his presence commanding. The staff noticed immediately, their whispers hushed as he walked through the store. Mia was at the jewelry counter, polishing a display case, her eyes widening when she saw him. Mr. Tate, she said, her voice a mix of awe and nerves. Is everything okay? Everything's about to be, Marcus said, offering a warm smile. Can we talk in private? He led her to the back office, a small space cluttered with inventory lists and sales reports. Mia sat, her hands fidgeting, clearly unsure what to expect. Marcus leaned against the desk, his tone gentle but direct. Mia, I saw how you handled customers yesterday. You were kind, professional, even under pressure. That's what Opulence needs. Mia blinked, her breath catching. Thank you, sir, but I'm just a sales associate. Marcus shook his head. You're more than that. I'm offering you the interim manager position. I believe you can lead this store the way it's meant to be led, with heart. Mia's eyes glistened, a mix of shock and gratitude. I won't let you down, she whispered, her voice trembling with resolve. That afternoon, Marcus called a meeting with the store's staff in the back room. The team gathered, their faces a mix of curiosity and unease. Evelyn's sudden exit had sparked rumors, and Marcus knew he needed to set the tone. He stood at the front, Mia by his side, her posture straighter than he'd ever seen. Thank you for being here, Marcus began, his voice steady. Yesterday, I walked into this store as a customer and I saw something that broke my heart. This place, my place, wasn't welcoming. It judged people based on how they looked, not who they were. That stops now. He paused, letting his words sink in, meeting each staff member's gaze. He gestured to Mia. Mia's your new interim manager. She knows what this brand stands for: respect, elegance, inclusivity. We're starting fresh with training, focusing on how to make every customer feel valued. Your jobs are secure, but your commitment to change isn't optional. Who's with me? Hands shot up, and a murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Marcus felt a spark of hope. This was the beginning of something new. Mia threw herself into her new role with a fire Marcus hadn't anticipated. She scheduled training sessions, working with Lena to design workshops on cultural sensitivity and customer service. The staff responded well, their initial nerves giving way to enthusiasm. James, a young cashier, asked thoughtful questions about handling biased customers, while Carla, a veteran salesperson, shared ideas for making the store more inviting. Marcus stopped by unannounced one morning, watching from a distance as Mia coached a new hire on greeting customers. "Smile, but mean it," she said, her voice warm but firm. "Make them feel like they're the only person in the room." The new hire nodded, mimicking her approach. Marcus smiled. This was the opulence he'd dreamed of. Customers noticed the change, too. A woman in a sundress, who'd hesitated at the entrance, was greeted warmly by Carla, who helped her try on a scarf without a hint of judgment. The woman left with a purchase and a smile, promising to return. Marcus knew Mia was the right choice, but he also knew the real test was yet to come. A week later, Marcus was back at the store, observing quietly from the sidelines. The atmosphere had shifted. Staff were more engaged, customers more relaxed. He was about to leave when the door chime rang, and a familiar figure stepped inside. Evelyn. Her blazer was gone, replaced by a simple blouse, her face lined with tension. Marcus's stomach tightened. What was she doing here? Evelyn approached Mia, who was at the counter, her voice low but audible. "Mia, I need to speak with Mr. Tate. It's important." Mia glanced toward Marcus, who nodded slightly, stepping forward. "I'm here, Evelyn," he said, his tone neutral. The staff froze, sensing the tension, and customers nearby turned to watch. Evelyn's eyes were red-rimmed, her voice shaky. "Mr. Tate, I made a mistake. I see that now. I was wrong to judge people, to judge you. Please give me a chance to make this right. I can change." Her words were raw, desperate, a far cry from the confident manager who'd dismissed him. Marcus felt a pang of pity, but his resolve held firm. Marcus studied Evelyn, her hands clasped tightly, her gaze pleading. Part of him wanted to believe her, to give her the second chance she begged for. But he'd seen the complaints, the pattern, the way she'd made others feel small. This wasn't about one mistake. It was about a mindset that had festered too long. "Evelyn," he said, his voice calm but unyielding, "I appreciate your apology, but this isn't about one day or one customer. It's about years of turning people away, making them feel less than. That's not what Opulence stands for." Evelyn's face fell, tears welling in her eyes. "I can do better," she whispered. "I swear." Marcus shook his head. "The store's moving forward with Mia. She's building something real here, something inclusive. I wish you well, but your time here is done." Evelyn stood frozen, then nodded, her shoulders slumping. She turned and left, the door chime ringing softly behind her. Marcus exhaled, the weight of the moment settling over him. Justice wasn't always sweet. It was heavy, necessary. Over the next few weeks, Opulence blossomed under Mia's leadership. The training sessions took root, with staff practicing de-escalation techniques and learning to see every customer as an opportunity, not a stereotype. Marcus visited regularly, each time noticing small changes: a more diverse clientele, warmer greetings, a lighter atmosphere. One afternoon, he watched as James helped an elderly man in a worn jacket try on a watch, chatting with him like an old friend. The man left without buying but promised to return, his face lit with gratitude. Marcus caught Mia's eye, and she smiled, a quiet pride in her expression. "We're getting there, Mr. Tate," she said. "It's starting to feel like home." Marcus nodded, his heart swelling. This was what he'd fought for. A store where everyone felt welcome, where luxury wasn't a barrier but an invitation. But he knew the work wasn't done. There were other stores, other managers. The fight for his brand's soul was just beginning. Just as Marcus began to feel confident in Opulence's new direction, a new challenge emerged. A viral post on social media accused the store of past discrimination, citing Evelyn's behavior. The post, from a customer who'd been dismissed months earlier, gained traction, sparking heated comments. Some praised Marcus's swift action, but others demanded more proof of change. Marcus sat in his office, scrolling through the comments, his stomach churning. He'd acted decisively, but the damage lingered. Lena walked in, her tablet glowing with analytics. "The post is hurting sales," she said bluntly. "We need to respond. Show people we're different now." Marcus nodded, his mind racing. This wasn't just a PR crisis, it was a test of his vision. He called Mia, who was already drafting a response with the staff. "We're planning an open house," she said, her voice steady. "Invite the community, show them who we are now. Free styling sessions, no pressure to buy, just a chance to feel welcome." Marcus smiled, impressed. "Do it. I'll be there." This was Mia's moment to shine, and he trusted her to deliver. The open house was a bold move, set for a Saturday afternoon. Opulence transformed into a vibrant space, with live music, refreshments, and staff mingling with guests. Marcus arrived early, helping Mia set up a display of affordable accessories to show the store's range. The doors opened, and people poured in, locals, tourists, skeptics drawn by the viral post. Mia led the event with grace, greeting each guest personally, her warmth disarming even the most skeptical. Marcus watched as James helped a teenage girl try on a scarf, her laughter echoing, while Carla chatted with a couple about their upcoming anniversary. The atmosphere was electric, a stark contrast to the cold exclusivity of Evelyn's reign. But not everyone was convinced. A woman in her 30s, her arms crossed, approached Marcus. "I saw that post," she said, her voice sharp. "How do I know this isn't just a show?" Marcus met her gaze, his tone earnest. "You're right to question us. We failed before, but we're changing. Stay, see for yourself." She hesitated, then nodded, joining the crowd. Marcus knew this was just one step, but it felt like progress. As the open house buzzed, Marcus noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Evelyn's daughter, Sophie, a college student who'd once worked part-time at the store. She stood by the jewelry counter, her expression a mix of curiosity and unease. Marcus approached, his heart heavy. "Sophie," he said gently, "I didn't expect to see you here." Sophie's eyes met his, hesitant but open. "I heard about the open house," she said. "I wanted to see if it was true. If the store's really different now. My mom, she messed up, I know. But she's struggling, Mr. Tate. She loved this place." Her voice cracked, and Marcus felt a pang of guilt, though he stood by his decision. "I'm sorry for what your mom's going through," he said. "But we're building something better here. You're welcome to stay. See what we're about now." Sophie nodded, her eyes glistening, and joined Mia at the counter, asking about a necklace. Marcus watched, a mix of emotions swirling. The past wasn't erased, but the future was taking shape. Mia shone during the open house, her leadership transforming the event into a celebration of community. She shared stories of the store's new direction, her voice carrying over the music, her passion infectious. "This isn't just a store," she said to a group of guests. "It's a place where everyone belongs." The crowd applauded, and Marcus felt a surge of pride. After the event, social media buzzed with positive posts, photos of smiling customers, videos of Mia's speech, hashtags like #new Opulence trending. The viral complaint began to fade, replaced by stories of warmth and inclusion. Marcus pulled Mia aside, his voice low. "You did more than manage today. You led. I'm making your role permanent." Mia's eyes widened, tears threatening to spill. "Mr. Tate, Thank you. I just want this place to be what you dreamed." Marcus smiled, clapping her shoulder. "It's getting there, Mia. Because of you." The store was healing, but Marcus knew the journey was ongoing. The open house's success rippled beyond Miami. Other opulent stores reached out, inspired by Mia's approach. Marcus launched a company-wide initiative mandating inclusivity training and regular undercover visits to ensure consistency. He visited stores himself, sometimes in disguise, testing the culture, rewarding those who embodied his values. Back at the Miami store, the staff thrived under Mia's leadership. James became her right-hand man, leading training sessions, while Carla mentored new hires. Customers returned, drawn by the store's new reputation. One evening, a man in a wheelchair thanked Mia for making him feel seen, his purchase a small token of a larger connection. Marcus watched from his office, reading customer reviews that glowed with praise. The viral post had been a crisis, but it had also been a catalyst. Opulence was no longer just a luxury brand, it was a beacon of change, a testament to what happened when values trumped prejudice. Late one night, Marcus stood on his balcony, the ocean breeze cool against his skin. He thought of his journey, from a kid in a struggling neighborhood to the man who'd built an empire. The sting of Evelyn's dismissal still lingered, a reminder of the barriers he'd faced, but it also fueled his fire, his commitment to making Opulence a place where no one felt less than. He thought of Sophie, of Evelyn's plea, and wondered if he'd been too harsh. But then he remembered the customers who'd been turned away, the staff who'd felt stifled. Change required tough choices, and he'd made the right one. His phone buzzed. A text from Mia with a photo of the staff celebrating a record sales day. Marcus smiled. This was worth fighting for. He walked inside, his resolve renewed. Tomorrow he'd visit another store, another chance to ensure his vision lived on. The adventure wasn't over. It was just beginning. A journey to redefine luxury, one heart at a time. Months later, Opulence's Miami store was unrecognizable from its past. The staff greeted every customer with genuine warmth, from tourists in flip-flops to CEOs in suits. Mia implemented small touches, free coffee for browsers, a community board for local events, that made the store a hub, not just a shop. Sales climbed, but more importantly, loyalty did. Marcus stopped by one afternoon, blending into the crowd, this time in a casual button-down. He watched as Mia helped a young couple choose a gift, her patience endless. A regular customer, the woman from the open house who'd questioned him, waved him over. "You kept your promise," she said, smiling. "This place feels different now." Marcus nodded, his heart full. "It's what we're about," he said. "Everyone belongs." He caught Mia's eye, and she gave him a thumbs up. The store wasn't perfect, but it was alive, vibrant, true to his dream. He knew challenges would come, but with Mia leading, he was ready. Just as Opulence found its rhythm, a new challenge emerged. A rival luxury chain, Glamour, launched a smear campaign, accusing Opulence of copying their designs. The accusations hit social media, with bloggers speculating about Marcus's integrity. He sat in his office, Lena by his side, scrolling through the claims. "They're trying to capitalize on our momentum," Lena said, her voice grim. Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd faced doubters before, but this was personal. Glamour's CEO, Victor Lane, was a known cutthroat, someone who'd mocked Marcus's inclusive vision as soft. Marcus called a meeting with his design team, pulling out sketches and records. "We're original," he said, "and we'll prove it." He decided to go public, hosting a live stream to showcase Opulence's design process. Mia suggested inviting customers to share their stories, tying the brand's authenticity to its values. Marcus agreed, sensing another chance to turn a crisis into an opportunity. The fight for his brand was heating up again. The live stream was set for a Friday night, broadcast from the Miami store. Marcus stood beside Mia, the staff behind them, as cameras captured the scene. He held up original sketches, explaining the inspiration behind each piece, his voice steady but passionate. "Opulence isn't just about luxury," he said. "It's about stories, about people. Every design comes from our heart." Mia stepped forward, sharing a customer's story, a single mother who'd saved for a necklace to celebrate her promotion. The chat exploded with support, viewers sharing their own Opulence moments. When a commenter mentioned Glamour's accusations, Marcus didn't flinch. "Our work speaks for itself," he said. "We don't need to tear others down to shine." The stream went viral, trending across platforms. Bloggers who doubted Marcus apologized, and Glamour's campaign fizzled. Marcus watched the comments pour in, his chest tight with pride. Mia squeezed his arm. "We did it, Mr. Tate." He smiled. "No, Mia, you did." A month later, Marcus received an unexpected email from Victor Lane, Glamour's CEO. Victor wanted to meet, claiming he admired Marcus's resilience. Skeptical but curious, Marcus agreed, meeting Victor at a neutral coffee shop. Victor, a silver-haired man with a shark-like grin, extended a hand. "You've got guts, Tate," he said. "Join us. Merge Opulence with Glamour. We'll dominate." Marcus leaned back, studying Victor. The offer was tempting. Resources, reach, stability. But he saw the catch. Glamour's cold, exclusive model would swallow his vision. "Thanks, but no," Marcus said, his voice firm. "Opulence stands for something bigger than profit. I'm not selling out." Victor's smile faded, but he nodded, a grudging respect in his eyes. "Your loss," he said, standing. Marcus watched him go, feeling lighter. He'd faced prejudice, betrayal, and now temptation. And he'd stayed true. Opulence was his, and it was thriving. Back at the store, Marcus gathered the staff for a surprise announcement. He stood beside Mia, the team buzzing with anticipation. "You've all made Opulence what it is today," he said. "A place where everyone belongs. I'm launching a scholarship fund for employees, starting with Mia, to support your dreams, just like you've supported mine." The room erupted in cheers, Mia's eyes shining with tears. Customers joined in, drawn by the energy, snapping photos that spread online. Marcus felt a lump in his throat, thinking of his younger self, dreaming of a world where he belonged. He'd built that world, one store, one person at a time. As the celebration continued, Marcus stepped outside, the Miami sunset painting the sky in hues of gold and pink. He thought of Evelyn, of Sophie, of every customer who'd walked through his doors. The journey wasn't over, but it was right. Opulence wasn't just a store, it was a legacy of respect, resilience, and heart. Marcus stood on the store's balcony overlooking Ocean Drive, the city alive with possibility. The past year had tested him, Evelyn's prejudice, the viral post, Glamour's attack, but each challenge had strengthened his resolve. Opulence was more than a brand now, it was a movement, a promise that luxury could be inclusive, that everyone deserved a seat at the table. He thought of Mia, leading with grace, and the staff embracing change. He thought of the customers, their stories weaving into the fabric of his dream. His phone buzzed, a message from Sophie, thanking him for inspiring her to pursue business school. Marcus smiled, typing a quick reply. The future was bright, and he was ready for it. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Marcus took a deep breath, the ocean breeze carrying his hopes forward. This was his adventure, his fight, his triumph, and it was only the beginning. Opulence would shine, not just in Miami, but across the world, proving that true luxury lies in lifting others up.